To become truly digitally native, companies need to do a couple of things. First, they absolutely need to stop running digital as a portfolio of products. For years, the pressure has been growing on companies to stop doing that. And more companies have thought that they've stopped. We've talked to companies for years that made a pretty good case that they've moved beyond a portfolio of initiatives and they're truly digitally native. However, what even those companies have found is that AI is proving that they were wrong, that they had not gone far enough in becoming digitally native, and they're unable to make the connections internally that getting the ROI out of AI demands. And so it's really proving the inadequacy of current efforts. Another thing they've really got to do is take a journey-centric approach. What I mean by a journey-centric approach is if you're really running your business from a customer-focused perspective, which you should be doing, it's the surest way to business success is to actually focus on customers, regardless of your industry or your geography. And to do that, you need to run it, as we say, from the outside in, from the customer's perspective inward. And when customers think about their interactions with a company, whether it's B2C or B2B or whatever, when they think about interacting, they think about what we call customer journeys, which is the steps they take to solve a problem that they have. And when companies take a journey-centric approach, what that means is they think not in terms of channel or product or portfolio or initiative, they think in terms of customer journey. And when you think in terms of customer journey, you optimize experiences and everything in your ecosystem that supports those experiences, right? From that customer's perspective of a journey. And that means that everything is natively integrated. And then, of course, as you build out from journey to journey, those journeys connect and things connect along that way, right? And so rather than thinking about the technical approach first of what it takes to be fully integrated and digitally native, instead of thinking technical first, what it makes sense to do is think customer journey first, because that becomes your guiding principle for what you need to do to actually integrate everything on the back end in the right way. Traditional beacon metrics like Net Promoter Score and customer satisfaction and others, they have a place. But companies rely on them too much, they trust them too much, and they use them as a proxy for business outcomes, a proxy that doesn't actually do the job companies think it does. Very few companies have taken the next step to actually connect the quality of the experience to loyalty behaviors to business outcomes. Instead, what most companies do is they have a beacon metric like NPS or CSAT, and they take it on faith that a higher number is better for business. But our research, other research shows that that is not always, in fact, sometimes very rarely the case. What companies need to do is they need to take advantage of the technology, the best practices know-how to create a real measurement architecture that not only connects the quality of the current experience to customer loyalty behaviors, to real business outcomes. Net Promoter Score, customer satisfaction, customer effort score, these are not business outcomes. These are proxies for business outcomes. Real business outcomes are revenue, profit, market share, etc. And so what you can do is, in fact, what you need to do is jump over a beacon metric straight to business outcomes. Build a measurement architecture that can do that, and not only do that for the current experience, but when it's done right, you have the data to create predictive models so that you can predict the ROI of different potential experience changes and not simply take on faith that a higher beacon metric is better, especially when most companies, whether they realize it or not, manipulate beacon metrics to be higher than they should be. And so when you take that out of the mix, you can still report something if your board wants to see something, but that is not the end all and be all. What you've got to do is you've got to create that architecture to create real advanced predictive analytics. Process, governance, ownership, accountability, these are huge questions in a world in which AI moves from recommendation to taking autonomous action. there's a couple of things we need to start thinking about. First is human in the loop, human in the lead is the go-to for the foreseeable future. Even as companies start building ecosystems of agents, taking different action and interacting with each other, what we need is human oversight. Now, I know that companies are eager to minimize human oversight because human oversight is expensive and companies want AI primarily for cost savings purposes. And any human oversight bleeds away some of that potential ROI. But the risks to taking humans out of the loop are far greater. And so please avoid the temptation for full autonomy for now. As companies institute more AI, even with humans in the loop, accountability and responsibility becomes murky. And so companies need to make sure that their governance is really nailed down in terms of where responsibility lies when something goes wrong, and especially in terms of having enterprise risk plans so that they can hedge against potential challenges and have plans for what to do if something does go wrong.